Some video game endings are fine. You beat the boss, watch a cutscene, and move on. But then there are the others, the ones that stay with you, the ones that hit harder than you expected, the ones that don't just end the game, they reframe the entire story. Sometimes they make you question everything you did to get there. They're rare, but when they happen, they remind us just how powerful video games can be, not just as entertainment, but as storytelling. In this video, we're not just listing good endings, we're looking at the ones that hit like a punch to the gut, flipped the script, or left us sitting in silence after the credits rolled. From devastating sacrifices to endings that broke the rules of the medium itself, these are the video game finales people still talk about, years, even decades after playing them. Let's dive into the 10 most unforgettable video game endings of all time. Number 10, The Last of Us. For most of the game, you think you understand what kind of story The Last of Us is telling. A broken man, a young girl, a dangerous world, and maybe, just maybe, a cure. But then there's the ending, the one that flips everything. Joel's bond with Ellie feels like the emotional heart of the journey. So when he finds out that creating a vaccine will kill her, he doesn't hesitate. He slaughters an entire hospital to save her life. And then he lies to her about it. That final conversation isn't explosive, it's quiet. Ellie asks him if what he told her is true. He says yes. And she simply says, okay. It's not a triumphant ending, it's a betrayal dressed as love. And that silence between them, it says everything. The ending of The Last of Us didn't just divide players, it challenged them. Was Joel right to do it? Was Ellie better off not knowing? Years later, we're still asking the same questions. But some endings don't need moral ambiguity. Some just drop a single devastating truth and never look back. Number 9, The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Not every great ending is a twist or tragedy. Some are just massive. And Tears of the Kingdom delivers a finale that's not just epic, it's elemental. After countless hours exploring skies, depths, and ruins, you descend into the poisoned roots of Hyrule Castle to face Ganondorf one final time. It's already intense. You've fought monsters, you've lost hearts, you've prepared for this. But then, he changes. Ganondorf transforms into a colossal dragon, a creature so massive it dwarfs everything around it. Link, seemingly powerless, looks up, and that's when she arrives. Zelda, also a dragon, appears in the sky. She's been watching, waiting, transformed and silent for ages. Without a word, she joins you in the skies for a battle unlike anything else in the series. What follows is a cinematic aerial fight, where you're diving through clouds, weaving between two dragons, striking at the heart of evil. It's the culmination of everything: time, love, power, sacrifice. And when it's over, Zelda returns. The kingdom breathes again. Tears of the Kingdom isn't just about defeating a villain. It's about legacy. It's about love that spans centuries. And it's about soaring through the sky with the fate of the world below you, trusting that you can catch it.
8. Silent Hill 2. Silent Hill 2 doesn't just end with a twist, it retroactively changes everything you thought you knew. You play as James Sunderland, a grieving husband who comes to the fog-covered town of Silent Hill after receiving a letter from his wife. The problem is, she's dead. That mystery alone is unsettling, but the truth revealed at the end is something else entirely. James didn't lose his wife to illness. He ended her life himself. It wasn't murder in the traditional sense. It was quiet, tragic, and full of guilt. But it happened. And everything you've seen, the monsters, the town, the hallucinations, suddenly make sense. It's all built from James's own mind, his punishment, crafted by his own guilt. The game doesn't give you clean answers. There's no single ending. It depends on how you play, what you explore, and what you choose to see. That ambiguity is intentional. Silent Hill 2 doesn't want you to feel closure. It wants you to sit with the discomfort, to ask yourself who James really is, and whether redemption is even possible. Some endings shock you with action. This one lingers in the quiet. And somehow, that makes it even harder to forget. 7. Inside. For most of its playtime, Inside is quiet, eerie, and unsettling. You play as a nameless boy navigating a dystopian world filled with faceless enemies, harsh experiments, and surreal dangers. It's dark, minimal, and almost dreamlike. But nothing prepares you for the ending. After sneaking through labs and escaping near death countless times, you arrive at a sealed containment chamber. Inside is a massive, grotesque blob of human limbs and torsos, alive, writhing, and horrifying. And then you merge with it. Suddenly, you're not a boy anymore. You're it. A heaving, monstrous pile of flesh that smashes through walls, crushes scientists, and destroys the very facility that held you captive. The game shifts. It's no longer about vulnerability. You're unstoppable, horrific, free. And then, just as abruptly, it ends. You crash through a wall, roll down a hill, and come to a stop, lying still in the sunlight, silent. No music, no victory. Just stillness. No dialogue, no explanation. Just the final moment that leaves you asking, was this freedom or something else entirely? It's bizarre, it's brutal, and it redefined how strange and beautiful a video game ending could be.
6. Nier Automata. Nier Automata doesn't just have an ending. It has dozens, but only one truly matters. And you don't even reach it until you finish the game multiple times from multiple perspectives. It's exhausting, it's repetitive, and that's the point. The story follows androids locked in an endless war with machines. You fight, you win, you lose, you switch characters, and somewhere along the way, you realize nothing you're doing really matters. The world resets, the war continues, the cycle never ends. Until it does. In ending E, something breaks. After one final, hopeless battle, the game rolls credits, then turns them into a boss fight. Literally, you're flying through space, dodging waves of enemy names. It's punishingly difficult, until help arrives. One by one, you're joined by the ghosts of other players, anonymous allies, sacrificing their data to help you win. Their presence is marked by tiny messages of hope, and if you succeed, the game offers you the same choice. You can delete your save file, everything you've earned, everything you've unlocked, all of it, gone. In exchange, you'll become a helper for someone else, just as strangers helped you. It's one of the most emotional, meta, and selfless endings ever made. Not just because it breaks the fourth wall, but because it asks you to give up something real. Nier Automata doesn't reward you with power, it rewards you with meaning. 5. Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. If Nier Automata ended with quiet sacrifice, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance does the exact opposite. This is an ending that doesn't whisper. It screams, explodes, and then pile drives logic straight into the floor. The game's already wild. Cyborg ninjas, oversized swords, and high-speed combat set to metal music. But the ending dials everything up to pure chaos. You face off against Senator Armstrong, a cartoonishly jacked villain with an even more ridiculous ideology. He's not just a politician, he's a walking tank filled with nanomachines and raw insanity. The fight becomes a spectacle. Armstrong throws entire pieces of the battlefield at you, lectures you about liberty and strength, and turns into a nearly invincible monster. He's part motivational speaker, part final boss, and completely unhinged. And then there's Raiden, your half-machine protagonist, bloodied, broken, and still pushing forward with pure spite. The final battle is absurd, over the top, and genuinely thrilling. You don't just fight Armstrong, you survive him, inch by inch. It's campy, it's loud, it's metal, and it works. Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance doesn't try to be deep, it tries to be unforgettable. And it succeeds with flying fists and flaming speeches.
4. God of War: Ragnarok. For a series built on rage and revenge, God of War: Ragnarok ends on something no one expected: peace. After years of violence, Kratos finally faces his greatest challenge. Not a god or a monster, but the future itself. As Ragnarok approaches, the end of all things, he prepares to sacrifice everything to save his son, Atreus. We've seen Kratos angry, we've seen him destructive, but here we see him afraid of losing his son, of repeating his past, of being the god he used to be. But the game doesn't follow the expected path. Instead of dying, Kratos survives. He makes the hard choice to change, to grow, and to lead with compassion. In one of the most powerful moments in the series, he glimpses a mural of a future where he is worshipped, not as a destroyer, but as a protector. For once, he's not feared, he's loved. Atreus sets off on his own journey, and Kratos stays behind, ready to rebuild, not just the world, but himself. The most violent man in gaming finally finds peace. 3. Portal 2. Most puzzle games end with a final level and maybe a congratulatory screen. Portal 2 ends with a physics-defying moonshot, a choir of singing turrets, and one of the most satisfying aha moments in gaming history. The story builds toward a chaotic final confrontation with Wheatley, the bumbling AI who's taken over the facility. Everything is collapsing. GLaDOS, your old nemesis, is now reluctantly helping you, and you're running out of time. Cornered, out of options, you look up and see the moon through a shattered ceiling. That's when it clicks. You fire a portal at the moon. In an instant, the laws of science and comedy collide. The portal sucks Wheatley into space, screaming, as debris flies past. It's absurd, it's genius, and it's perfectly earned by everything the game taught you. But Portal 2 doesn't stop there. It rewards you with a quiet, surreal elevator ride upward, serenaded by turrets singing in a harmony. Then, GLaDOS lets you go, almost gently. She tells you she's deleted the part of herself that cared about killing you. And then, a door opens. You step out into a sunlit field, free. It's rare that a game can be smart, hilarious, touching, and surprising all at once. Portal 2 pulls it off effortlessly.
2. Titanfall 2. No one expected Titanfall 2 to have one of the best endings in modern shooters, but that's exactly what it delivered. An emotional, high-speed sci-fi climax that caught everyone off guard. You play as Jack Cooper, a rifleman suddenly thrust into the role of pilot after a battlefield disaster. But the real heart of the story isn't Jack, it's BT, the intelligent, loyal Titan who fights beside you. What starts as a standard mech and soldier partnership slowly becomes something more, a real friendship built on trust, timing, and mutual survival. The ending pushes that bond to the limit. After a series of jaw-dropping set pieces, including leaping between collapsing warships and storming a superweapon, everything comes down to one final mission. BT is damaged, the enemy is seconds away from activating a planet-destroying device, and there's only one way to stop it. BT grabs you. He initiates Protocol 3, protect the pilot. And then, he sacrifices himself, launching you forward to destroy the weapon, knowing it will end him. It's a brief moment, but it lands like a punch to the chest. You don't just lose a machine, you lose a friend. 1. Red Dead Redemption. Few games have dared to do what Red Dead Redemption did. It didn't just end its story, it gave it space to breathe, to settle, to hurt. You play as John Marston, a former outlaw forced by the government to hunt down the men he once rode with. After a long, violent journey filled with betrayal and regret, John finally earns what he's been chasing: peace. He returns to his family, builds a ranch, lives simply. For a few hours, the game becomes quiet. You herd cattle, teach your son to hunt, spend time with your wife. It almost feels like a different game entirely. Then, it ends. Federal agents arrive, guns drawn, and you realize it was never going to last. John sends his family away, he walks out of the barn, and you, still holding the controller, try to fight back knowing it's hopeless. They kill him, slowly, brutally. And just when you think it's over, the game gives you one more surprise. Years later, you return as Jack Marston, John's son. You track down the man who gave the order, and you kill him. But it doesn't feel like revenge. It feels like a cycle, one that never really ends. Red Dead Redemption isn't just about cowboys or shootouts. It's about consequence, about the price of violence, about what we leave behind. And it remains, to this day, one of the most powerful endings ever put into a video game. These weren't just endings, they were statements about love, sacrifice, chaos, and what it means to reach the end of something that mattered. Some left us broken, others left us speechless, and a few made us sit in silence long after the credits rolled, trying to process what we just experienced. That's the power of a great ending. It doesn't just finish a story, it completes it. And sometimes it transforms the entire game in its final moments. Which of these endings stuck with you the most? Or did we miss one that still haunts you to this day? Drop it in the comments, we'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you're into deep dives like this, hit subscribe. We've got more coming. More moments, more endings, and more stories that remind us why we play in the first place. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.